evening, it's 6:30 p.m. and time for all the news from South India on Up South with me, T.S. Sudhir. Our top stories this evening are from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and in both cases, the policemen find themselves at the center of all the action. Our top story this evening is from Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh, where 20 smugglers were killed by the Red Sanders anti-smuggling task force. In fact, upon receiving intelligence that a large number of smugglers, about 100 to 150 of them, were inside the dense Seshachalam forest area in Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh, the task force, which involves itself with anti-smuggling of Red Sanders, was mobilized. The smugglers, who were armed with arms and sickles, apparently started pelting the police with stones, and the police opened fire, killing 20 of them. The rest managed to escape. According to officials, the smugglers had come in from neighboring Tamil Nadu. Okay, in fact, my colleague Shisha Reddy also sent us this report from near the encounter site. Okay, in fact, Shisha Reddy is live with us from Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh. Shisha, the fact that a lot of Tamil Nadu parties have also upped the ante. They have said that this is against Tamil Nadu. What are the reactions that you have got from the spot? You went to the encounter site. What is it that you have seen around you?
Well, Sudhir, as far as the encounter site is concerned, yes, there are a lot of, they still are in the combing operations are still on. I'm now joined by Mr. Reddy, the MLA of this particular constituency. Sir, you have been raising so many questions as far as this, operation is concerned. So, what are your questions to the government?
Actually, we have so many doubts raising. Is it encounter or not the boot cup encounter? ఎందుకు అనుమానం వస్తుందంటే ఒక దగ్గర 11 బాడీస్, ఒక దగ్గర సింగిల్ ప్లేస్ 11 బాడీస్, సింగిల్ ప్లేస్ 9 బాడీస్ చేద్దారు. ఒకే దగ్గర 11 బాడీస్ ఒక దగ్గర ఉన్నాయండి. ఈ గవర్నమెంట్ ఒకసారి ఎదురు కాల్పులు జరిపి షూట్ చేస్తే మటుకు షూట్ చేస్తే తెల్లా చెదరగా పరిగెత్తాలి. తెల్లా చెదరగా పరిగెత్తి అక్కడ పడాలి. ఒకే దగ్గర సింగిల్ ప్లేస్ సింగిల్ స్పాట్లో 11 బాడీస్ ఉన్నాయి, సింగిల్ స్పాట్లో 9 బాడీస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ ఎర్రచందనం ఏదైతే ఉందో ఆ ఎర్రచందనం కూడా నెంబర్ లేస్ ఉన్నారు ఆ దొంగలు కూడా.
Right, so there are a lot of questions that he saying that there are a lot of doubts that have been raised. What are your demands, sir?
We are demanding enquiry, serious enquiry through from High Court Chief Justice. Chief Justice నిజానిజాలు తేలాలి. హైకోర్టు చీఫ్ జస్టిస్ తో సిట్టింగ్ జడ్జితో విచారణ జరిపించాలి.
Right, so this is the emotion that has been coming from the political parties in Tamil Nadu as well, and now he's been reiterating that there should be an inquiry that should be put in place as far as this operation is concerned, is what he's been telling us, Sudhir.
Right, Shisha, stay on with us. We are getting some breaking news on this encounter which took place in Chittoor district. The National Human Rights Commission has taken so moto cognizance of the encounter which took place, in which 20 alleged smugglers were killed in the Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh. In fact, it was alleged that they are smugglers who were involved in the smuggling of Red Sanders. Shisha, what are the reports that you're getting from the ground? Because now the human rights violation is being alleged. NHRC has got into the act. It has issued notices to the Andhra Pradesh government. Also, we saw that the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Pannirselvam has written a very sternly worded letter to his Andhra Pradesh counterpart Chandrababu Naidu. What are the voices that you're getting from there? Because this area is known to be notorious for Red Sanders smugglers. Are the locals feeling that the task force did a good job there by liquidating about 20 of those smugglers?
Well, Sudhir, there are two parts to this particular story, because as far as one hand is concerned, yes, people in this particular village do see, because as you also pointed out, this Red Sanders smuggling is quite rampant in this particular area, as Red Sanders are in huge demand. And and last year the Andhra Pradesh government had seized the Red Sanders worth 1,000 crore rupees. So yes, there have been a lot of operations, and that is one of the reasons that why this anti-smuggling task force was pressed into service, because it is quite rampant. On the other side of this particular story, that there are a lot of people who have been coming from Tamil Nadu to this particular place, because all these four places in Andhra Pradesh, including Seshachalam forest where we are standing right now, has a lot of red sand. So they were smuggling, and this morning when the operation took place about 5 a.m., at least like 100 to 150 people were there. So it means that it only points out that how rampant is this operation is. On the other hand, yes, political parties in Tamil Nadu have been up in ante against this, pointing out how they can carry this forward without even investigating into this process.
Right, Shisha, thanks a lot for joining us there from Chittoor. Let's listen into some of those voices coming in from political parties in Tamil Nadu.
It is nobody is above law. So even though if they would have done some mistake also, there should be a proper inquiry, and they can be punished according to the law. Shooting anybody just like that, it's not acceptable.
Yeah, in Andhra, is a good 20 people have been shot dead by the police, by the Andhra police, and out of 20, 12 people happen to be from Tamil Nadu. I think this got to be inquired thoroughly, because you cannot shoot at sight. And suppose you say that they are involved in smuggling activities, they are all every day wage holders, and you should take action against the people who are really responsible, who are the big shots behind all this scene.
Right. Meanwhile, Andhra Pradesh Forest Minister Krishna Reddy, who also hails from the Chittoor district, has said that it is not right to look at it as an Andhra Pradesh versus Tamil Nadu issue, but between police and smugglers.
Police people also damaged, got some injuries. So that also they made inquiry. They are ordered for inquiry, and inquiry is going on. And how things have happened, I don't know. After seeing this thing, only I contacted some officers, and one person was with me, Secretary Parida was there, and he rushed to the Hyderabad immediately, and we are also rushing to Hyderabad.
Right. Joining me now on Up South is former DGP of Andhra Pradesh, Anjaney Reddy, also well-known human rights activist V.S. Krishna, also joining me on the phone line. Mr. Anjaney Reddy, the task force version is that the smugglers were armed with axes and sickles. There were over 100 of them. They threw stones and the police retaliated and killed 20 of them. Prima facie, does it look like the police and the task force in this case overreacted?
It is definitely, it looks prima facie, it's an excessive use of force. Force should be commensurate with the trouble expected. It seems to be excessive, but we can't judge it without a detailed inquiry. Somebody should look into it and see, was it really necessary to shoot down so many people?
Right. Mr. V.S. Krishna, now the NHRC has also issued a notice to the Andhra Pradesh government. The hearing is going to take place in Hyderabad. But while it is fine to talk about human rights violation, the fact remains that there is excessive looting of forest wealth which has been going on for so many years. You're well aware of that. They have killed forest officers. You surely cannot expect the state government to remain quiet.
We don't. But we expect the state government to abide by the law and the constitution. The police simply cannot wash their hands off after declaring that they were under attack and they had to fire in self-defense. Point is, whether there was a justified plea of self-defense is a matter to be decided by the courts and not the police. The law will not have it any other way. We can go on endlessly about whether there was justifiable use of force in discussion, but we cannot end it there. At the very least, a case under 302 IPC has to be registered against the police personnel who have participated in the encounter. And in this particular...
Right. Mr. Krishna, you are making a very important point out there. If I may go to Mr. Anjaney Reddy, the important thing is that Mr. Kanta Rao, who heads the task force in this case, he actually wrote to the Andhra Pradesh government seeking permission that his task force should be allowed to shoot at sight at any smuggler, because he believed that kind of an attitude will actually curb smuggling of red sanders in the Chittoor district and the Rayalaseema region in general. As someone who headed this task force, with this police force, Mr. Anjaney Reddy, would you approve of this?
Yeah, actually, Kantarao is a very good officer, but that does not mean, you can open fire merely at the sight of somebody presuming he is a smuggler. Even if he is a smuggler, you can't open fire straight away, unless, it is warranted. So, this cannot be a justification for opening fire because, some people are there supposed to be smuggling red Sanders.
Right. Mr. Krishna, this kind of a request which has been put by the Red Sanders Anti-Smuggling Task Force Chief, even if it is to curb smuggling, now it will reduce our entire state to a police state where anyone can be dubbed as a Red Sanders smuggler and be bumped off.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's very bizarre for a police officer to be making this request publicly and getting away with it. But the more important point, I think, in this particular case, we will not see any progress till both the Seshachalam alleged encounter case, 2 of them, in which 20 people died, and also the one near Hyderabad where 5 unarmed, under trial prisoners were allegedly shot dead in an encounter. Very farcical argument.
Right.
Both these cases, the criminal investigation must be handed over to the CBI.
Right. Mr. Krishna, Mr. Anjaney Reddy, thanks a lot for joining us. Let's also see the report that Shisha Reddy has filed from deep inside the Seshachalam forest area from the encounter side. This is the report that Shisha Reddy has filed on Headlines Today.
Red Sanders are in huge demand and the smuggling is quite rampant in the 4 districts of Andhra Pradesh and the Seshachalam forest especially, and that is one of the reasons that why a special team was appointed. And these Red Sanders cost somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 rupees per kg, and the ton of it cost at least about 15 to 20 lakh rupees. And the Andhra Pradesh government had seized at least 1,000 crore rupees of red sandwood in this particular district itself and the Seshachalam forest. So this operation sends a strong message to the kingpins who have been involved in this red sandal smuggling, because in 2013 there was yet another incident that happened where 2 police officials were killed by these red sandal smugglers. With camera person Daniel, Srisha Reddy in Tirupati for Headlines Today.
Right, that was Shisha Reddy reporting from near the encounter site in Chittoor district. News now from Telangana. 5 under trial prisoners were shot dead by the police this morning near Aler in Nalgonda district of Telangana when they were being shifted from the Warangal Central Prison to the Nampally court in Hyderabad. According to the police, the 5 under trial prisoners tried to escape by snatching the weapons, whereupon the escort policemen opened fire, killing all 5 of them on the spot. The 5 included notorious terror operative Vikaruddin Ahmed, whose picture you see there on the screen. They tried to overpower the escort personnel and flee, and in retaliation, the security men fired at them and killed all 5 prisoners.
Very fair. From his record from the prisons of Warangal jail superintendent, anybody can ask how he was favoring the jail people and in charge jail, and how he was living with them, so politely, and how anybody can, unnecessarily expect like this, We don't know. This is too much for us to, for our feelings. I don't know. Sir,
the under trial prisoners, all of them who are terror suspects, were being taken to the Nampally court in Hyderabad in an escort bus. But if you see the shots from the bus, it raises several disturbing questions. How is it that an escort group of 17 policemen had to kill all 5 of them to control the assault? And number 2, when they were handcuffed, as you can see in those pictures, how is it that they managed to snatch the weapons from the police? And incidentally, all the 17 policemen who were escorting them were armed. Mr. Anjaney Reddy, former DGP of Andhra Pradesh, is still with us. Mr. Anjaney Reddy, 17 escort policemen resort to killing 5 under trial prisoners. Yes, they were terror suspects, and they claimed that they were trying to escape. If you see the shots, and from your experience as a senior policeman, would you say that it carries the signature of a fake encounter?
Well, I can't sit in judgment. I don't exactly know what has happened. Actually, police escorting under trial prisoners itself is an antiquated colonial practice. It should be given up. Escort should be provided by the prisons department. And this cannot be an excuse all the time. They were trying to snatch weapons and we opened fire. This is an excuse which has been doled out more than once. I don't think, this should go on. Escorting prisoners should be the function of the prisons department and not the police.
Right, Mr. Anjaney Reddy, thanks a lot for joining us on both those stories coming in from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and giving us your perspective as a senior policeman. Thanks a lot for joining us on Up South. And finally, tragic news coming this time also from the Telangana state. D. Siddhaya, sub-inspector who was shot at by the two semi-terrorists in Nalgonda district of Telangana on Saturday morning during that encounter in which those two semi-terrorists were killed, died at around 4 o'clock this evening. He was admitted to hospital after that shootout on Saturday morning and he did not survive. In fact, Siddhaya's wife was pregnant and delivered their baby on Saturday evening, the same day that he was shot at. In fact, incidentally, today is his first marriage anniversary of Siddhaya. The Telangana police has lost a brave soldier. That's it then on Up South this Tuesday evening. News and updates will continue on Headlines Today.